If you are feeling burned out right now as you are living your life as a musician entrepreneur, running your business, running your household, in today's episode, I'm going to share the strategies for how you can change your life, restructure your business, and create a self sustaining asset rather than a glorified job. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Musicians Creating Prosperity podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Fabiana. And in today's episode, we're going to tackle burnout. Burnout is a crisis that is really encompassing so many musicians. And the reasons that you may be feeling burned out are not necessarily because you're simply working hard. It may also be because you're working in a way that is inefficient and you're not focusing on the right tasks. So in today's episode, I'm going to dive in and share with you the strategies and how you can restructure your business and find ways to build more leverage so that you can win back your time and start feeling that you actually have an asset in your life rather than a glorified job, rather than something that is holding you back. The whole point of the work that we do as musician entrepreneurs is to not only make a difference in the lives of our students, but also help us create the lives that we want. If we are in a state of burnout, we cannot serve at our greatest level, right? We cannot serve at the highest capacity. We're always going to be limited to how much of an impact we can make. So it is critical, not just for you, that you realign yourself, but also that you do it for the sake of your own clients and your students. So let's tackle burnout, how to know if you are actually starting to feel that burnout. And one of the most important indicators of being in a state of burnout is simply having a lack of energy, feeling that you don't have the impetus in you to connect with people around you, to come up with solutions, and to problem solve without feeling overwhelmed. If you have challenges that are coming at you in your day-to-day life, whether they're business or personal, to be honest, and you're finding that every time you have a problem to solve that you feel like you're drowning or you're feeling very limited or maybe a little bit snappy, those are signs that you may be in a place of burnout right now and that your life is just not structured in a way that is going to allow you to thrive. And this can have many, many additional side effects, and not only from an emotional standpoint, but also from a physical standpoint. For our bodies, when we are in a state of high alert and stress, chronic stress over a prolonged period of time, that's where most chronic diseases start showing up. And when you are constantly running, and in a mode of trying to just put out fires all day long without giving yourself the time to reflect and to just center yourself in order to expand your capacity to problem solve, then you're going to get yourself in a trap and you're going to continue feeling that you don't have the patience. Maybe you're a parent. I know I've certainly felt that way myself as a mother of two. Whenever I felt myself that I was not, fulfilling my role as a mom in the way I wanted to, or I was more impatient or just frustrated, I would always, realize that it had to do with just working in a way that wasn't efficient and burning myself out through work. And so it usually comes clear in your health markers, in your relationship markers. And sometimes we just think it's other things, but it's most likely going to be always originated from your work. If you are working in a way that is inefficient, that's where you start getting yourself out of alignment, and every other area of your life is going to be impacted. So let's talk about the concept of creating a business asset rather than a job. What do I mean when I say that? Ideally, you want to be working in a way where you're able to generate income without having to always be physically present so that everyone around you gets results. Instead, a lot of the things that we talk about in this podcast series is how to switch your model where your clients can learn from your expertise, having an online program where they can access your knowledge that you can download and document and compartmentalize little by little over the course of time, and eventually have a system so that people that need your services can access the solutions that you're creating for them through systems rather than always needing to be face to face with you. And I'm not really going to talk about that so much in this episode because I've talked about it a lot in many other episodes. We're going to go deeper in today's episode and help you think about what else can you do in addition to having a business model that does not require you to trade your time. But it is important that I address that as the foundation for everything we're going to discuss today, because if your business model, the way you work, depends on you being physically present all the time in order to earn income, then that's going to be the root cause of every other problem that you have. No matter how much you want to work to avoid burnout, if the model that you're building your day-to-day livelihood is flawed, which is what happens when you're trading your time whether you are limiting your income to teaching one-on-one lessons or performing or gigging, or perhaps depending 100% of your income on a 9 to 5 situation. If that is the way you're currently working right now and you don't have any other way of creating income, then that's going to be the first place you're going to want to stop and reevaluate and reassess how could you restructure the way you work so that you have an income stream, even if you keep the other ones, right? It's not necessarily about just jumping ship at this point, but it is important that you diversify your income stream so that you're not just depending on one or in-person activities, that you have a model that gives you more leverage and more freedom. So if we can assume that you are either already working in this type of way or you are building that model as we speak, hopefully that'll be the case. And if not, if you need help, reach out, book a call with us so we can help you map out a plan for how to get started with that. But anyway, let's just assume that you are aware that you are going to always be working towards a business model that doesn't trade your time and that gives you more scalability. Beyond that, there are going to be 4 pillars that you're going to need to think about when it comes to actually building a business that will create leverage for you and will feel like a self-sustaining asset rather than just a job. And these are systems, team, automations, and creating leverage through all of that, right? And the reason why we start with systems is because you cannot delegate or replicate something that is not structured, that is not created, that is not delineated first. Even before you think about hiring someone, bringing someone in to help you manage your tasks, the step number 1 is building the systems. And when I say building the systems, I'm referring to specifically creating documentation, somehow noting the processes and things that you are doing at the moment that you will eventually be passing on to someone else. And that can be done as easily as just recording yourself, doing a screen recording with applications such as Loom, Loom, and you can just simply make a video of yourself doing the thing, whatever type of tasks you're planning on documenting, or making a video of you sharing what you want to be done, how you want it to be done. Again, even if you don't have anyone yet that you're hiring, you need to first start building the systems of what you're going to delegate and how you're going to delegate, so that when you do hire someone to help you with, the scaling of your business, you already have things in place, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to really lead that person with all the clarity that they require. So that would be my first recommendation, is how to create that type of leveraged model that will allow you to build those systems that will create duplicatable processes for you, right? And once you do that, then you're going to be able to keep going into the next stage of this process, which is now understanding who to hire and how. So when it comes to preparing for delegation, the most important part is going to be that you have every single process documented somehow and ready to be transferred into the next person that you're going to bring in, right? And at first, you may be wondering, well, who is that next person? How do I figure out who I need? And I'll share with you the systems that I believe are important for delegation and the order of how to hire and who to hire. And frankly, I believe the first thing you're going to want to look at in terms of creating leverage for yourself and expanding your capacity in your state of mind and energetically is not just getting team in your business, but actually getting help at home. Having someone that could support you with household activities. Just taking care of our homes is another full-time job. And if you don't have the right strategies to get that support, either delegating it to other members in your family or delegating it to someone who can help take some of that off your plate, whether it's cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, driving, running errands, whatever you can find right now that you're spending time on a day-to-day basis inside your household, believe it or not, it's creating a lot of pressure for you to be able to then show up in your business. Everything is connected. And if you're not creating leverage in the way you live on a day-to-day basis, then you're going to have less energy left for what's really important, which is strategizing and building your business. So I would suggest thinking about first the systems in your home, right? Treating it just like we're talking about for your business. And then from there, figuring out how can you outsource those systems? How can you delegate those? Who can take over? Right? How can you restructure it? I know for me personally, I took way too long to understand the value of having household help. And I just somehow felt it was a luxury. It was something inaccessible. It was something that it was not meant for me. And in a way, I think from a deeper reasoning of that, it was just not understanding how valuable my time was, and that every hour that I would spend folding laundry or doing other things would cost my business thousands of dollars, right? And so when you look at the value of your time and you understand that if you can be creating value in your business, strategizing, creating systems, selling, enrolling people, creating content, doing so many things that your business really needs you and only you to do, and instead you're spending time doing household errands, then that's going to be the first thing you're going to want to address. The second thing is administrative support, how to find someone who can help you with the back end operations of your business. There's always going to be activities that are more administrative, more task oriented, and that are not directly related to creating revenue for yourself and for your business. And you want to look at what you're doing right now that is more of a back end operations type activity, and how could you start outsourcing that and delegating that. Right? Typically, what I recommend, and the first hire that I made in my business was a virtual assistant who could help me for a few hours a week manage my technology aspects of the business, whether it was editing video, editing audio, creating graphics, organizing my emails, organizing, the different things that I'm using in my different areas of the business. Finding someone who can help take some of that administrative stuff off your plate is going to be the first thing you're going to want to do. And then from there, you're going to want to look for someone who can help you with the front end activities of the business, such as sales and marketing, helping you in building relationships. The reason for this is because at the end of the day, there are two core things that you are going to want to focus on as you build these systems and create your business in a way that allows you to not be in a state of burnout. And those two core activities are going to be essentially creating content, spreading the visibility of your business, and connecting with people in a way that allows you to learn how you can best serve your ideal clients. What do they need? What are the things that are stopping them from succeeding? How are they going about it in the wrong way? And what could you do to help them? And so those are what I like to refer as microphone activities, camera activities, activities that are putting you front and center in front of your audience, both through content as well as through connection, conversations, creating and connecting. Those are the two pillars that you're going to want to focus on when you are in the process of building this type of self-sustaining asset. Everything else that is around your business right now are things that you're going to want to delegate. You're going to want to create the systems, the automations, right? So we talked about systems, we talked about team. Let's talk about automations. I mean, there's so many programs today that you can use to automate all of these things, including content creation, including relationship building. And you want to be looking for ways that you can incorporate technology. And even if it's not you, you want to make this a front and center activity for your team to be able to look for ways in how they can incorporate automations in a better way to expand all of the processes that you have going on with your business. So for example, if you have clients that you are enrolling in your program, you're going to want to look at how can you automate that in the best way possible so that you're not having to be doing so much manual work, and really mapping out what do you want your client onboarding experience to look like. What are the first interactions that you want your clients to have when they say yes to working with you? What are those first experiences? Are you going to have a sort of an onboarding conversation with them or a survey that they get to fill out? And just asking yourself, what do you want the experience of your clients to look like when they join your program? For example, you can systematize all of that, right? And then when they are going through your program, what are the milestones that you want them to achieve? And how can you set up the trainings and the steps to be able to track those milestones? All of that can be systematized too. Right? I have clients like our client Megan just shared a few weeks ago that she was out on vacation for a week. She went to Florida. She lives in Canada, and she was spending a week with her family at the beach, and her clients were still progressing and she was still enrolling people. People were coming in and she was able to support them even though she was away, she was on vacation. And the best part is that she didn't have to lose any income from traveling, nor did she have to make up the time when she got back, because she built systems in her online program that allows her clients to continue progressing whether or not they are directly in front of her. And that's what we're talking about here, right? It's looking for ways where, whether it relates to client services, whether it relates to sales and marketing, whether it relates to operations, whether it relates to financial management, what are the ways that you could systematize your business so that it runs without you having to be in the day-to-day? And believe me, sometimes when you're a solopreneur, it's really hard to wrap your head around this concept. I certainly remember not even thinking about this when I started my very first business in 2011, how to make it run without me. For the first 5 years, my husband and I were running the school in Miami, brick and mortar music school, day in and day out, all day long, and doing all of the things, teaching one-on-one lessons, managing the financial part of the business, managing the teachers. We even cleaned the academy. We did it all. We were in the business all day long. Then we became parents. Then I decided to move and take a job at the University of North Texas, and we moved our family to Texas. And we had to really rethink how we ran the business. We had to restructure everything so that it could run without us. But if we would have started running our business knowing that one day we would be moving and letting it run itself on autopilot, we would have done things so much efficiently. And so I want to encourage you, as you are in this process of creating and optimizing your business, looking at ways where if you needed to step out for 10 days, what would you do? How could you set up the infrastructure so that your business could actually run without you and still maintain itself, not fall apart, right? What are the systems that you can use to continue relationships? What are the ways that you can integrate the technology that is available for you today, using integrations to expand your content creation strategies, for example? There's many programs that you can literally schedule your content for days and days and days. And you sit down and you spend, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour scheduling your content, and then it gets posted on your behalf every single day. Programs like Hootsuite and so many other schedulers that are there, like Later, and all these programs that you can literally just sit in one moment and just schedule everything out, for example. Or how can you create automations to continue conversations with your clients on your behalf, or at least to start these conversations? Automations that you can integrate into your direct messages on your social media, like ManyChat, or all those other automated conversation starters that can be sending resources to your potential clients as they respond to your content. Let's say you have a podcast or you have some sort of a release magnet that you want to share with your community. You can ask your clients, your potential clients, to just comment a specific keyword, comment newsletter, and I'll send this resource to you. Let's say if it's a newsletter, and you can have an automated agent through ManyChat just send that newsletter and start a conversation and then defer that to you later on, for example, right? And so all these things allow you to build a system so that you know that the core elements of connection and creation are going to be implemented or at least initiated on your behalf. And then you can take it from there, right? How can you track the progress that your clients are making without having to be face to face with them? How can you have surveys, for example? We do monthly surveys with our clients to have a very close pulse on how they're progressing, how they're feeling, what they need, how we can continue serving them, improving our services, our trainings, adding more value at each and every time. All these things need to be systematized, right? When it comes to nurturing and upselling your clients into your next tiers, you want to have systems for that as well. What are the cadence of conversations that you're going to want to have so that you don't just create new clients every single time, but you also have a way of maintaining them and building that recurring revenue for your business. When it comes to financial management, what are the systems that you're going to use to track the accounts receivable, the payments that your clients need to submit, tracking and making sure that there's no, defaults or credit card payment issues or things like that? What are the systems that you have organizing that? Because I know when we get busy as entrepreneurs, and believe me, I've been there myself, the finances are the part that we can just like oversee. It's like, oh, that's not as urgent. But if you don't keep a close eye on that, then you don't have enough information to make decisions in your business. So I want to encourage you to look at your financial management for your business and ask yourself, how are you currently tracking not only the general basic accounting reports like profit and loss and balance sheet, but how are you tracking what's actually happening in your business in order to make decisions moving forward? Do you have a way of measuring that progress? What are the things that you're looking into optimizing? What are you optimizing for? And do you have a way of seeing what happened last month? How are you going to move towards the next month? And tracking what you need to change based on that data. When it comes to marketing, how can you create the systems to track the effectiveness of your content? Because that's another bottleneck. I see oftentimes we can get caught up, and I know many of my clients get themselves caught up in a frenzy of just creating content and posting and not really assessing the effectiveness of that content. And what you need to do is have a system to track, measure, and then make decisions based on data when you are creating content, for example. How are you measuring the effectiveness if it's resonating with your ideal clients or not? Otherwise, you're just going to be feeling very busy, and that's where there's a lot of burnout. You're going to feel very busy, but it's not actually productive. Remember, busy does not equal productive, right? So when it comes to creating your content, are you tracking? Are you seeing what are the highest performing posts? Why are they highest performing? Which are the ones that didn't get any engagement? How can you then reevaluate your content planning for the next week or next few weeks based on that information? And all of these things can be automated. They can also be delegated to someone like a virtual assistant who can spend that time looking at the back end of your social media accounts, which all have internal reporting mechanisms, and then coming to you with a plan, with a solution, right? You want to be able to be the leader who empowers your team to think on their own and to develop their own ability to look at problems to solve and come with solutions rather than just problems. And that's the final thing I'm going to say in this episode, because I know we're getting into a lot of things and I'm just very passionate about all these things, to be honest. You want to empower your team members to be able to come to you with not only the problems that they're seeing, but also what they think could be solutions. And that's going to be a very important shift, just like we do it in the context of music education with our students. We want to teach them how to think. The same thing happens when you start training your team members to think on their own and to come to you with proposals, with solutions rather than just problems for you to have to solve, right? So the bottom line is all of these systems, all of these processes in the different areas of your business, whether it's client services, marketing, finance, operations, all of these different elements of your business can develop systems. You can have systems to optimize things. And when you start thinking in this way, every single task that you're performing right now, asking yourself, is there a way I can document this? Is there a way I can create systems? You are going to ultimately create the success that your business needs and your own success in your life. Because ultimately, when you create all of this and when you're focusing on thinking in this way and being very mindful of protecting your time so that you don't get burned out, and you're conscious of the fact that you don't have to do everything on your own, you're actually going to create not only more capacity to solve problems, you're not only going to feel more energized, but you're going to create the most important freedoms that we're looking for as human beings, which are time freedom. You're going to win back your time to be able to focus on highly profit producing activities, which include not just profit producing activities directly as like sales and marketing, etc., but also activities that give you back your energy, like creativity, like creative fulfillment activities, and also the independence of being able to move and travel and feel free in your day-to-day life, knowing that your business is going to maintain itself even if you're not 100% involved in it. And believe me, more than just being able to buy yourself monetary things and material things because of more financial resources, having time freedom is the best and the most powerful definition of wealth, in my opinion. Time freedom is what actually wealth is designed to provide. Wealth, in my opinion, is not just about buying things, about acquiring material things. Wealth is about being able to have control over your time and understanding that you have a choice and making decisions from a place of empowerment rather than from a place of limitation. Wealth is having control of your time and being able to be present for yourself, for your health, for your creativity, and for your loved ones, and for your clients. Wealth is being able to have that location independence, to be able to travel, to move, and know that you're not going to be penalized because of that. And ultimately, wealth is also about having the space to continue being creatively fulfilled. Because at the end of the day, you're here because you have a gift, you're an artist, you're a musician, you're a creative, you have a craft that you've honed your entire life. And if your business is bearing you and is not giving you the space to be that beautiful, creative human being that you're meant to be, then ultimately that's going to erode a hole in your soul. And you're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel lack of energy. You're going to feel burned out. And it's just because of the way you're structuring your day-to-day life and not looking for leverage. And again, I'm sharing this because I've been there myself in many, many instances. And it's something I'm constantly trying to optimize and improve and look out for myself. So I hope that you feel that this is giving you some ideas on what you can do to start gradually reducing your hours while maintaining your growth and impact, and looking at yourself and asking yourself, where right now am I overdoing things? Where am I doing things that I could potentially be either automating, outsourcing, and building that leverage? Because we talked about these 4 pillars today. We talked about systems, we talked about team, we talked about automation. And now I want to encourage you to look for this concept of leverage, because everything that you can automate, that you can delegate, will ultimately be a catalyst that will bring you back your time and your energy. And the goal here is that you can let go of that perhaps feeling of not wanting to let go of control or perfectionism. If you can let go of those feelings of wanting things to be perfect and therefore needing them to always be done by you, or just struggling with letting go of control, perhaps being a bit of a micromanager, if you will, if you can let go of those tendencies that are usually the tendencies that I see keep musicians stuck, and instead open yourself to saying you deserve support, you deserve to have the energy and the bandwidth to be able to show up fully in your life and for your own environment, for your own clients, for your own family. This is what is going to allow you to actually start, feeling more fulfilled and build a business that can become that leveraged business model that can become that self-sustaining entity that fuels everything else you're trying to do in your life. Your business should be a gift in your life. Your business should not be the source of trouble, of pain. Your business should be the catalyst that empowers you to show up in the way that you're meant to show up, to serve, and to make the bigger difference that you're here to make. So I hope this inspires you. I would love to hear your takeaways. If this is helpful, go ahead and leave us a review so that we can reach more musicians just like you and give them some ideas on how they can expand their impact and their income while also creating a life that is truly in alignment with their values. Thank you for watching. And if you need help mapping out a plan on how to do this, feel free to book a call through the link down here. There should be a booking link in the show notes. We would be happy to connect with you and show you perhaps where in your business are you working too hard instead of smart, and what you could do to change and reorganize not only your business, but most importantly, start creating the right systems to have a self-sustaining asset and feel aligned. I hope this has been helpful. And as always, let's prosper together.